you're a plumber or HVAC company and you saw the video, or maybe a friend sent you here, you're in the right place. But before you go book the quick audit, I want to make sure you understand what this is all about so you can decide if this is worth your time. So this is not a sales call. This is not for new companies. This is not to try to convince you that you should sign up for something. Is about us working together to evaluate your data, just like if you go to the hospital emergency room and we scan your x-ray and we take your blood and whatnot to see, can we make an improvement? And do you have that necessary signal? So if you are an established plumbing and HVAC company, usually 200 plus reviews is where we see the best results. It's not to say you have to have at least 200, but that's kind of the general sweet spot. Then it may be worth your time to continue listening to what we have to say. So let's talk about who this is for. If you have an established plumbing HVAC company, meaning that Google can clearly see there are reviews that you answer the phone, that when people click on your website, they have a good experience, that you are responding to requests, that your data is on social media, that we can see your technicians that are serving customers in your city. Those are the raw signals that we see and we need. And what our system does is combine three elements. We take the signals of what your customers are saying, the reviews, your technicians, photos, items that we can find across your social media and whatnot, and structure it. Structure it into your location service pages on your website, structure it into your Google business profile. And what most of these SEO companies, who've probably been burned by three before, what they'll do is they will just create a bunch of blog posts. And generating blog posts, generating social media posts, generating a bunch of Google business profile posts doesn't solve the core problem because it's not a tool or a blogging issue. It's a structural issue. So when we address that structural issue of getting all the information, what we call your entity, meaning your name, address, and phone, information about your business, proof that you are a plumber, you do residential and commercial plumbing, that you fix water heaters, that you work with other contractors in Houston, for example. That's the signal that we're looking for, that we're looking to be able to amplify. And when that's the case, then Google can see that. We're driving traffic there. We're evaluating what's working, what's not. We're making adjustments along the way. Then you're going to show up better in Maps. And that's what this whole package is for the Maps visibility system. And we know that Maps is 70% of where the game is in Google for a local service business. You can show up in video, you can show up in regular search results, you can show up in knowledge panels, in news and other areas, but Maps is where it's at, right? There's three that show up in Maps. Your number 4 or 5 in Maps kind of doesn't want to measure where you currently are in Maps, show what kind of increase we think we can do in your market. Every market is a little bit different. And then when we look at that data together in the quick audit, we're able to put together, say, it looks like you're position 4, position 7 on San Antonio, HVAC replacement. And if that's the case, let's look at who the top 3 are and see, do we think that we can get ahead of those? We know that the whole world of SEO, of maps, of rankings is competitive, meaning that the reason why you're number 5 is that there's 4 guys that are ahead of you. So it's not just like magically, we're going to make you number 1. That means we have to get ahead of those other guys who are ranking on those particular searches in those parts of the map. And each of you guys are going to have different strengths and weaknesses in different parts of the map. Maybe within the Dallas metro area, there's different parts where you're stronger. Maybe you're stronger in Euless. Maybe this other competitor's in Fort Worth. Maybe someone else is in Plano, in North Dallas. We want to see where that relative strength is and where we have an opportunity. That's why nobody can make promises. A surgeon in an emergency room can't make promises until we see what's going on. So when we do these 3 things and we tie together your location service pages, the signals of your customers and reviews and photos, stuff that your technicians have, and our system to bring it all together, we can see what those results are. So next, let's talk about proof without promises. The beauty of what we're talking about here is that we don't need to promise that you're going to have an increase in rankings, or you're going to dominate these other guys, or like, oh, Google changes their mind, or like, it's not about that. It's about, we're going to run a test, and together we're going to see where you show up in the maps. And we're going to take where you're already showing up the strongest, try to move those up a few positions. So if we can move you up and, HVAC repair, Dallas, Texas, HVAC technician near me, and we can move you up from position 3 to position 1, we know that that is double, if not triple, the amount of traffic, right? And that's going to generate ROI. We want to see that ROI, not just in turning the maps green. That's what you're going to see in the map grid results. We see a bunch of red dots before, and then you're going to see the green dots to show, hey, we're ranking higher, in the top 3, it turns green. That's good. That's a good initial diagnostic signal. But what we want to see is that not just ranking on terms. By the way, we'll together choose what those terms are that are worth going after. And we don't want to go after terms that have no traffic. What's the point of that? Ranking number 1 that has no traffic. But when we're able to show up better in maps on terms that are worthwhile, HVAC, plumbing, strong terms, not just some like esoteric term, then we should be able to see that that's driving more clicks to the website, more calls that we see inside your Google business profile, more traffic overall, better results in Google local service ads. So this does help your LSA better, because if your Google business profile is doing better, your LSA, which is an extension of that, is going to do better. You're going to see an ROI. And so you can see lots of examples here of what's happened with plumbing HVAC companies we've started with, to what's happened over the course of several months, and sometimes as soon as just a week or two. Really, it depends. I'd say maybe 70% of the time, we can get a pretty good win within the first 2 or 3 weeks, enough to demonstrate we should keep working. That's why we're willing to say, we'll do this work without even a credit card, without even charging you. It's not a money back guarantee. We're not even taking a credit card first to demonstrate that we can drive these results. And if that's the case, and we earn your trust over the first, for a few weeks, first month or two, then you will see that this is worthwhile. Whether you have 1 Google business profile, 5 Google business profiles, you're going to see that the ROI of driving just several more HVAC replacement jobs, 20K, 30K, that is a multiple of whatever investment you make in our services. And then you also understand what we need from you versus what we do. So together we're able to win. And that's why it's so difficult for most agencies, which are salesperson driven, to try to sell something they outsource to someone else, or sell a package they don't really understand, or don't have the ability to make those structural changes to the website that we publish and talk about how we do that with location service pages, how we structure Google business profiles, how we structure entities with Google and the knowledge graph, all of that kind of stuff that you would want to hear from a search engine engineer like me. I'm not a sales guy, I'm a search engine engineer. And the beauty is, it's all transparent. Just like you go to the mechanic, just like you go to the doctor, you're going to see all of this. And my hope is that, because you can see that this is data first, this is, we're putting our money where our mouth is, then you see it's not a long-term contract. We've earned your business first. If it doesn't work, 20% of the time, sometimes it doesn't work for some reason. Sometimes there's a penalty on the site. Sometimes the competitors are it's just too hard in certain areas, right? Can't guarantee it, but why not try? Why not take a look? It's no risk, and you're going to learn a lot during the process and find a lot of other things that you can improve. Hopefully, have a great time. So what happens next? Book a really quick audit call with our team. Could be me, could be one of the other folks that's trained, and let's take a look at your results. Let's see what you've been missing. Let's see where competitors maybe have an edge over you. And let's see you get greater visibility in the map results.